There's a moment in Chainsaw Man where Denji almost leaves. Not to fight, not for money, just to disappear into a life that doesn't need him to be a weapon. That moment doesn't last, but it matters, because it's one of the few times Denji's allowed to imagine a future that isn't already decided for him. And it isn't the last time the story offers him one. Let's check it out. Hey, real quick, it's Russ. Before we jump in, I just want to say thank you. I started this channel back in June with 0 videos, 0 subscribers, and just an idea. Since then, I've learned a lot about editing, storytelling, and yes, the algorithm. For a small creator, it's been an uphill grind. But honestly, I love this kind of stuff. Hitting 100 subscribers was my first real milestone, and I couldn't have reached it without your support. The comments, the discussions, the shared enthusiasm, all of it genuinely means a lot. Because I only upload once a week, I don't usually revisit a series, but as a thank you for hitting that milestone, I wanted to return to Chainsaw Man. My previous video, for reasons I still don't fully understand, became my most popular upload. Watching it grow, and reading how invested you all are in this story stuck with me. So this video's for you, and if you're not subscribed yet, maybe you will be by the end. Thanks again, and enjoy the video. If you watch Chainsaw Man, who's your favorite character? And why is it Pochita? Before we get to the relationships, let's talk about where Denji starts. He enters Chainsaw Man without a dream, without a long-term goal, nor a clear picture of the future. What he has instead is routine. Eat what you can, follow instruction, accept what's put in front of you. Sounds like high school. And it's no coincidence that the characters who pulled Denji out of that mindset become instant fan favorites. These 3 little monsters gained massive popularity this year, and everyone has their pick. After reading your comments, the general consensus goes something like this. Reze is wifey, Power's homegirl, and Makima is... Reze, Power, and Makima each show Denji a different kind of life. Future possibilities, the what-ifs, the could-bes, and the rather-nots. So let's start with Reze, the life Denji almost chose. Reze enters Denji's life without authority. She isn't a superior or a handler, and she isn't someone Denji has to impress just to survive. It must have felt nice to finally meet someone outside the organization, outside the hunt. His world begins to tilt. I like to think of Power as normalcy. Reze, on the other hand, is normalcy with affection. The phone booth scene, for example, is normalcy with affection. Everyone remembers the phone booth. It's where everything starts. Finding shelter from the rain is normal, right? What isn't normal is a girl keeping a flower pulled from your regurgitated throat. Denji, that is disgusting. Here's another one. It's normal to sit in a cafe. Constant affection, genuine or not, by someone you only just met, isn't normal. At least not for Denji. Reze's playfulness and Denji's hesitation sit opposite each other, a popular setup anime often returns to, especially when boy meets girl. What's even more interesting is that Reze is the first girl Denji doesn't necessarily obsess over. Let me elaborate. Denji has no experience being around the opposite sex. He was orphaned and forced to pay off debt at a very young age. He lived in extreme poverty with no parental figures, guidance, or safety net. That upbringing is a huge reason why Denji struggles with basic needs, emotional boundaries, and understanding what healthy relationships even look like. So when he first meets Makima and Power, Denji reverts to his more primal instincts. You know, obsessed. But with Reze, he doesn't act like a caveman at all. If anything, he's the perfect gentleman around her, and given Reze's own tragic past, it's no surprise these two get along so well. I don't know if it was just happenstance or Fujimoto's cleverness. Reze's introduction leaves a lasting impression. There's an old Greek fable about 2 mice. One lives in the city, surrounded by danger, noise, and abundance. The other lives in the countryside, quieter, simpler, certain. The city mouse sees comfort in excess. The country mouse sees comfort in calm. Denji is the city mouse. He's learned to endure hardship and accept danger as the price of comfort. Reze is the country mouse. She creates meaning from small, repeatable moments, a life built to last. Running away with Reze means stepping into a future where survival and meaning aren't tied to performance. For Denji, that kind of life feels unreal, and the cruel irony is, he almost had it. Reze offered Denji a way out, and he turned it down. When Denji finally wanted to run, Reze was already walking away, and before either of them knew it, it was too late. Symbolism uses visuals, objects, spaces, reoccurring imagery to express ideas beneath the surface of a story. A red coat can spotlight innocence and violence. 2 pills can divide truth from illusion. A birdcage can clip freedom just out of reach. Film thrives on this kind of visual language, and Fujimoto clearly knows how to use it. You really see it come through in the Reze arc, especially through 2 key symbols. The first is the white flower, the regurgitated one. Yeah, That one. More on that later. The second symbol is the pool scene. Across Chainsaw Man, the spaces Denji occupies define his role. The streets are survival, public safety turns him into a weapon, and battles reduce him to a tool. The swimming pool, however, exists outside all of that. It symbolizes Denji's vulnerability. He's defenseless, exposed. The scene reminds me of the pool scene from The Girl Next Door. The 2000s were absolutely chock full of American rom-coms, peak era of questionable decisions, pop-punk soundtracks, and learning life lessons the hard way. In The Girl Next Door, Danielle and Matt sneak into someone's private pool one night, as teens do in mid to upper class neighborhoods. As they're having a good time, Matt notices the pool belongs to his school's principal. He starts freaking out, thinking about nothing except the trouble he's about to be in if caught. His college scholarship is on the line. Denji's fear is different. It turns out he's just afraid of swimming. Danielle calms Matt, the same way Reze reassures Denji. All the boys needed was some encouragement from the right person. Speaking of other similarities, some of you have probably seen the memes and the chatter about Reze's design possibly being inspired by someone from the adult entertainment industry. Whether that was intentional or not, it's hard not to notice the resemblance. Learning to live with someone is definitely not easy. Denji and Aki had a good thing going, until Power comes along and ruins everything with her digestive issues. I think everyone needs someone like Power in their life. She's direct, upfront, and won't BS you and stab you in the back. This was just an accident. Or the other time where she lied about killing that sea cucumber thing, and the other where she lied about the bat devil, or how she lied about leaving the patrol area, or eating snacks in the hotel. And probably the biggest genjutsu of all. You know what? Never mind. You don't need a friend like Power. Chainsaw Man Season 1 teeters between shonen and seinen. Shonen anime is generally aimed at a younger male audience, while seinen is geared toward older viewers. And while Chainsaw Man is technically classified as shonen, it borrows heavily from seinen storytelling, like mature themes, complex plots, deeper psychological depth, and realism beyond the action-adventure tropes of shonen anime. And for people outside Japan, the blend of Season 1's shonen seinen style was a hit. However, inside Japan, that's a different story. While Western fans often praised the cinematic, grounded approach, many Japanese fans felt it lacked the manga's energy and humor. Critics argued that Ryu Nakayama's vision wasn't an accurate depiction of Chainsaw Man, that it leaned too far into the live-action sensibility. The colors felt muted, the pacing uneven, and the action scenes slower than expected. What's important to note is that Nakayama did not return for Season 2, nor for any subsequent projects. His name was also removed from the Chainsaw compilation movie released back in September, which only fueled controversy and speculation about what may have happened behind the scenes at MAPPA. Anime, yes, can feel too live action when it commits too strongly to a realistic presentation in ways that suppress what animation does best. While this works for atmosphere, it can make the show feel cold or detached, like watching a drama rather than an animated series. Moments that might normally explode on screen instead fall flat. I mention all this because Power's character thrives in these live-action worlds. These worlds are full of grayscale and bland austerity. In a setting dominated by muted tones and emotional suppression, her personality cuts through like a knife. It's a breath of fresh air. Power pulls people in not through inspiration, but through sheer authenticity. And there's something to be said about that. Episode 6, where Denji and the Devil Hunters are trapped on the 8th floor by the Eternity Devil. Their resolve is tested, and the feeling of being trapped shows how far each of them are willing to go. That pressure makes certain personalities impossible to ignore. Instead of smoking, crying, or having panic attacks, what does Power do? She thinks of ways to win the Nobel Prize to battle her boredom. Power practically steals every scene she's in, unless, of course, Makima's there. As leader of Tokyo Special Division 4, Makima carries herself with confidence and professionalism. It shows in how she speaks, and how little she has to. She commands attention without ever needing to raise her voice, because grace in her hands is a form of power. In Episode 3, Denji and Power argue after their incident in the city. Makima listens and doesn't interrupt. She waits patiently as they go back and forth, and then finally speaks. The look on Power's face says it all. This is the same Power who has tantrums over vegetables, barks when you take her food. She's fearless when confronted by a threat, but when it comes to Makima, Power is a scared feline. No wonder she likes cats. When Reze first meets Denji, she says he reminded her of her dog, and she wasn't wrong. If you really look at how Denji behaves, he kind of is. The dog symbolizes Denji, and Denji symbolizes the dog. The way he responds to kindness, give him encouraging words or a simple reward, and he follows without question. The thing is, Reze isn't the only person to refer to Denji as a dog. Do you know who that other person was? Yep, you guessed it, it was Pochita. I kid. The other person was Makima. In episode 2, Makima makes her expectations clear. Denji is her dog, and he clings to that attention like one on a leash. They have this master-slave relationship. Either Denji does what she asks, or he will be summarily put down. It's less man's best friend and more disposable mutt. I give credit where credit's due. Makima is perceptive and strategic, always seeming one step ahead. She motivates others with just enough warmth, just enough praise, and just enough purpose. Her kindness feels deliberate, soothing on the surface, yet frightening underneath. There's an instance with Makima I keep circling back to, one that's easy to overlook. The Makima and Denji movie date. The two spend the entire day hopping from theater to theater for a movie marathon. Comedy, drama, action, horror. None of them move Denji at all. He doesn't laugh, he doesn't cry. He's bored, calling it a quote-unquote crap fest. Until the final movie of the evening, a 1959 Soviet film, The Ballad of a Soldier. Something breaks through. Denji starts to cry, something he almost never does. And when he looks to his left, Makima is crying too. So here's the question. Is Makima crying because of the film, a mother and son separated by war? Or is she crying because Denji is? Denji's story centers on discovering choice. The moment he realizes other paths exist, his outlook starts to change. Some paths invite freedom, some teach connection through shared space and routine, some carry purpose that feel hollow and controlled. We talked about how Tatsuki Fujimoto relies on symbolism to express what the characters cannot. Everyday visuals etched into the ordinary, like the white flower, the one I mentioned earlier in the video. I didn't forget. It's the white gerbera, and often carries ideas of innocence, purity, and new beginnings. Near the arc's end, the red gerbera becomes a marker of Reze's love, and of a future she believed was meant for her with Denji. It represented a possibility they both longed for, but never arrived at together. If a flower defines Reze's role in the story, what object tells Makima's? It's the rat. Despite many negative connotations, rats are clever, adaptable, and opportunistic by nature, something the Reze arc makes unmistakably clear. The rat doesn't need to dominate the dog. It only needs to keep from getting caught. It sets the distance, the dog supplies the devotion. The trick isn't obedience, it's making loyalty feel voluntary, and that is where true power lies. Thanks for watching, and as always, remember to save your progress, because survival favors the clever, not the loud.